Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another creepypasta. Today's reading, Thomas and the Children. Have you ever heard of Thomas the Tank Engine? If you've been around little kids between the ages of 2 and around 7 or so, I'm sure you have. My son adored Thomas so much, he could name every single train, knew what color they were, and had the number painted on them. I was glad when I heard that he was coming to visit me over the summer, but I had a ton of work to do, so I bought him a Thomas DVD. The cover looked innocent enough. What was also interesting was that Thomas was smiling and little wooden children waving their arms out of the windows of his coaches. The DVD was called Thomas and the Children. He was so excited to see the DVD that right off the bat, he pleaded with me to pop it into the DVD player. I went to work while he watched it. After a few hours, he came into my office as pale as a sheet. His voice seemed very weak. "Are you okay?" I asked. I touched his head and noticed that his temperature had gone up. Why did Thomas kill the children? My heart sank like a stone, but I soon brushed it off. "I'm sure Thomas didn't kill the children," I reassured him. "Now you need your rest and some medicine." I gently pushed him towards his room. "Come on now." After putting him to bed, I got curious as to what he had seen. I popped the DVD and began to watch the episode play. After putting him to bed, it seemed normal enough. I popped the DVD and began to watch the episode play. It seemed normal enough. The episode began as Thomas was told to take a group of children to the seaside by the instructions of Sir Topham Hatt. I noticed something was wrong though. There was no narrator in this episode. The episode showed Thomas picking up the little wooden children and showed every single one of them climb on board. Then there was a scene of him zooming down the rails like he always did, and the kids were all cheering. But up ahead, Bertie the bus was stuck on the level crossing, moaning for someone for help. This is when the episode got strange. Bertie stared at Thomas in fear. But Thomas just smiled and sped up. He laughed, like so. and he laughed, and the children were crying now, with tears coming down from their wooden faces. That's too loud. With tears coming down their wooden faces, immediately Thomas crashed into the children. Thomas crashed into Bertie, and pieces from both of them flew everywhere. Usually by now the narrator would say, "And luckily no one was hurt." But there was no reassurance for the kids. The episode then showed what happened inside the coaches. Wooden limbs were broken off. What looked like actual blood had been splattered everywhere. We see brief shots of their heads ripped off. But there was no reassurance, and usually by now the wooden limbs were broken off. What looked like actual blood had been splattered everywhere. We see brief shots of their heads ripped off, and tears painted upon their faces. Everything went to static. After that, I felt myself boiling over with anger. What sicko would create something that messed up for little kids? Then I paused the static. Messages started to appear on the screen, like kill, obey, multiply, and die. And I watched the static and more different messages flashed on the screen, and on the bottom, one of them said, R.I.P. Thomas. I threw the accursed thing in the trash after breaking it in half. I would not expose my child to any more of that trash. Before going to bed, I checked him. He was happily asleep and snoring, clutching his teddy. I had nightmares from this. One where the children came into my room, but they were lifelike and as tall as a normal person. Their twisted forms grabbed my limbs and pulled me apart. All while I heard that blasted train laughing. Now I've woken up, covered in blood, knife in hand, and I'm afraid to check my son's room. Well, and there you have it. Thomas and the Children. This is a story that thought I heard something outside my house. So, this is a story I remember hearing about 4 years ago. I hadn't heard it in so long. I was literally just reminded of it today. And I thought, maybe I could do a reading on this video. Also, this video is copyrighted, by the way. And the laugh I did where it involved where I mentioned of Thomas's laugh. I thought it would be more dramatic if I had played Emperor Palpatine's evil laugh. Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. Well, hope you all liked the video. See you all on the next one. Goodbye, and have a horrific evening, everyone. Remember, he's always watching you.